All right. Good morning, Freedom Team. Thank you guys for showing up. Hope everybody had an awesome weekend. I busted my butt yesterday shoveling some snow. I got a little brace on my wrist. I don't even want to explain what happened. I was going down to help my wife hit ice and crazy. But anyway, all good, beautiful and sunny today. It's all melting. Anyway, guys, we are in for a treat. We say this every weekend, but man, I gotta read Phil's bio. And I'll pull other people in here in just a minute if they're waiting. But let's kick things out. Let me give you a little background on Mr. Phil here. So, welcome to today's meeting. We're thrilled to host Phil Hahn, a luminary in the real estate industry whose record-breaking achievements are profound impact are truly inspiring. In 23, Phil led his global sales organization to a monumental success, closing 6,882 transactions with a total of $6.06 billion in dollar volume, demonstrating not just his strategic prowess, but also his unparalleled leadership in the field. Phil's journey to the top includes being the former #1 agent at KW in the nation and securing a spot in the top 10 worldwide at KW, a testament to his exceptional expertise and relentless dedication. Beyond his personal accolades, Phil is deeply committed to mentoring and leading agents across the globe, helping them to compress their success timelines and reach heights they once thought were unattainable. His mentorship has guided the #1 agent at EXP in the nation for dollar volume closed in 23, as well as many of the top agents across North America, including a standout who was the #1 former KW agent worldwide, whom Phil personally recruited to KW. This influence underscores Phil's dedication to elevating the real estate profession and nurturing the next generation of leading agents. Off the clock, Phil is happily married, a father to 4 amazing adult sons, and a devoted owner of 2 wonderful dogs, showcasing his ability to balance a thriving professional life with a fulfilling personal life. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Phil Hahn, a true leader whose achievements are matched only by his commitment to helping others succeed in the competitive world of real estate. Wow. So this guy's done some massive production, led tons of people, and here he is now coming into EXP and starting to build a huge rev share group. Let me let all these other 6, 7, 8 people in. There we go. They're coming in for you, Phil. Now they've heard that bio. It's echoing throughout the Freedom Team, and they're coming on board. So, man, let's start off. Anything else, Phil, to begin with? First of all, we sincerely appreciate you coming to pour into the Freedom Team. We love doing this. I know everybody's got similarities to where they attract, but then they have these little unique different things they might do. But before we jump right into that, anything else you want to elaborate on your background before we jump in?
Well, I love hockey, and I actually love Colorado. So good on you. What brought you there? Are you skiing, or what's
My
the deal,
great
Sean?
question. I moved
Yeah.
here 6 months ago. My 82-year-old mom got married a year and a half ago to a 76-year-old. They've been up here for about a year and a half. We've been traveling here for 30 years off and on for vacation. When she moved up here, what I always tell everybody is for about a year before moving up here, I kept telling my wife, because of RevShare, honey, we can go anywhere. You want to go live in Greece? You want to go South Africa? Where do you? And one day we just came up from prayer, and my wife had tears in her eyes going, I feel like God's steering us to Colorado. And I'm like, and my wife's Hispanic. We go to beaches, go to 5 stars, all that kind of stuff, resort. But now we get the best of both worlds. So we've been up here for 6 months. Absolutely love it. Phil, we're at 9,900 feet high. So
Oh,
it
that's
is flat, gorgeous views of
yeah,
Pikes Peak and all that. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's phenomenal. Beautiful spot. Yeah,
yeah,
so no, I think that covers it. My faith obviously is a big thing that pulls me through. So I think it's important, that you lean on your higher power, and whatever that is to you for that growth and that support when things get tough, because they will ultimately get tough. And what we learn is, what I've learned anyway, is that I'm really not in control. And so it's to be able to surrender that and to know that I'm not in control, and I have a lot of peace in that I'm just a passenger on this journey and not
yeah,
driving the bus, right? So,
yeah.
and God tends to have a sense of humor as well, right? They have these big audacious plans, and sometimes He's got a completely different direction for our lives. So, again, whatever that higher power is to you, lean in, because that's an important thing I find, and I see it in a lot of top producers and upcoming producers as well. I'll have people say to me, uh, I've noticed that people like that are making lots of money or that are really successful, they tend to have like faith, whether they're like, strong in their Hindu faith or Judaism or Islam
Yeah,
or whatever, their Christianity, right? That they've got some faith and something to lean on. So, just take note of that. That's a big one for
absolutely.
me. Yeah.
I love it. Well, we'll take us down the journey. So obviously you've been in real estate for a long time. Let's jump right to the point of how were you presented EXP, or what was it that brought you over, and how was the approach when they came to you?
So that's a great question. So I was, my goodness, I was in Austin, Texas at the JW Marriott in the summer of 2017.
Okay.
Now, I'd had my original realtor who had been dripping on me EXP stuff started in 2015. And he
Wow.
would, guys, now this, we're talking a guy that's really low key and, he's big personality, but he's not like a business guy. He's more like in the arts and this and that, and great guy, love him dearly. And he was sending me stuff like direct messages on Facebook, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't have time, but I'd see it, but I didn't have time. And I thought the logo was kind of cheesy, and I just didn't give it any thought, guys. So I'm in Austin, Texas, summer of 17, JW Marriott. My wife and I are having a swim in the pool. And if any of you have been there, that pool that they have is a terraced pool, and it's probably about 10 flights of stairs, maybe on the 5th or 6th story, but it's about 10 flights of stairs walking. And this is a key part of the story. Well, doesn't the fire alarm go off? And apparently the hotel is on fire. So
Okay.
the security team are like, everybody get out of the pool, get out of the pool, get out of the pool. So we take our drinks. Of course, we walk down all the flights of stairs in our soaking wet swimsuits, nothing else, no clothing. And we go, it was about 10 or 12 flights we had to walk down. It's like, my goodness, is this ever going to end? Walking down, we're bare feet. And we get to the front of the hotel outside through the exit, and there's this beautiful park bench. So we sit down there, and we've got fire trucks coming, police, the news is there, first responders, like everybody is just congregating around the front of the hotel because they think the hotel's on fire. So my wife and I, the reason we were in Austin, Texas was we were there for franchise systems orientation for Keller Williams. And I was meeting with Bill Soderoff, who's the president of K.
That's not the one that I need to be.
Hey, Beck, you're oh, there we go.
I got it.
And so we were in the process of buying Croatia and Italy, those regions of Keller Williams. And my wife said to me, why don't we look at this EXP thing? So we looked at it, and I'm a math guy, folks. And so I looked at the numbers and I said, wow, if these guys even do a fraction of what they say they're going to do, this is really going to change the game. And believe me, what I looked at was nowhere near like the presentations and the IP you have access to now. It was very, very, very rough. And it was Rob Fleck, actually, Sean. It was the old Rob Fleck, an old Rob Fleck thing. And I was like, wow. And I got what they call the EXP insomnia. And so I ended up reaching out. And then, of course, what happens when you buy a red Toyota Camry, you notice that everybody's got a red Toyota Camry. It's your reticular activator happening. So then I see, okay, Gene Frederick's there. Okay, yeah, Rob Fleck. Well, I knew him because I'd seen the video. And these are my old KW buddies from like the early 2000s. So long story short, Glenn and I end up going, Glenn Sanford, who's a Canadian, who's our founder, end up going out for dinner. He comes over to Canada, and we go to this lovely Italian restaurant, spend about 3 or 4 hours. And what was really, guys, I'm a really off the charts D, so it's hard for me to buy in to other people's vision. I want to build my own thing, right?
Yeah.
But Glenn's humility that he brought to the table that night, and just his transparency in terms of what he'd been through, his challenges, his his dreams, his vision, his major setbacks. I mean, everything was there. And I asked him some really tough questions because I wanted to be building my own thing. And then I thought, okay, well, my ego was such that, I didn't invent EXP. So now I got to go and build someone else's dream. And, that's because I didn't really understand how it worked that well yet. And after that meeting with Glenn, it was kind of serendipitous. We took our money. This was a kind of a really interesting moment. We took the money we were going to buy KW with and put that into the stock. And then that was prior to the IPO in May of 2018, prior to us uplisting to the NASDAQ. And so that was a game changer for sure for the family, a couple of generations anyway. And so, that's kind of what got me into it. But it was my original agent just dripping on me through social media, direct messages, through Facebook, and a guy that I liked that sold me my first house in the early 90s.
Love it. And so you coming on board, what was your biggest attractor? It was the rev share, I think, from you and I talking beforehand. Is that the main thing pulling you over, or what was it?
Well, yeah, it was the leverage. It was the ability to scale my knowledge set and my success that I'd been blessed with with, by loving on other agents and not being geographically bound. And it was definitely the rev share piece for myself. However, the training, the technology, like just everything was just so cool. And again, we were, much more, less mature, we'll put it that way, than we are now. Right. So in terms of the offering. So yeah.
And FYI for you, Rob is my sponsor. I'm not sure if you know that. And I joined April of 2017. He had been on board about a year when I first saw it. And so anyway, it was Rob's my sponsor. Yeah, but he happened to be doing a webinar that night when he and I were having dinner at my house. Anyway, you and I can get into that story later. But Rob
is he your direct sponsor, Sean? Or are you direct to Rob?
Yeah, I'm direct to
Yeah,
Rob.
no, that's cool. Yeah, so I'm direct to Gabellini, who's direct to Rob.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
No, sorry,
up under
to Rob. There's a buffer
most
there.
of us are underneath Rob and Gene somewhere, right?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Well, man, tell us. So you come on board. Obviously, the rev share was one of the big pulls, leverage, and all the systems and tools. So, did you right out of the gate? How did you start with the traction? Was that a main focus when you started, and how did you begin, and how has that evolved up to today?
So yeah, so great question. So I had the privilege and the pleasure of actually opening a state or / province, which is British Columbia. And British Columbia now we have about 1,700 active agents. It's in the northwest, just northwest of Seattle, and or Washington, sorry. And so I opened that province in the summer of 2018. And so that gave me some pretty good legs. And basically what we did is we just invited a bunch of agents to some lunch and learns, call it, but it was much more kind of corporate-y because we were opening the company, right? So we had a more of a corporate flair to it.
Yeah.
And launched from there. And then I reached out to all the real estate agents that I personally knew or had a relationship with that, weren't with us at that point in time, to share the opportunity. It was just, sweat equity and making the phone calls and social media direct messages and just saying,
was this, Phil, was this the first province to open?
Was this no, it wasn't. No, this was but this is the province that put us on the map.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ontario is our biggest province. It's kicking butt now, but we have we have some very, 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 very heavy talent on our bench here. And so, so we kind of, and we opened in 2018 and now again, we're 1,600 agents here. And that's about a 10% market share of what the total agent count is in the province, about 15,000 or so.
Okay. And so you built early in the early stages a lot through lunch and learns, at least to launch that market. And we just happened to do last week, we focused on lunch and learns because we had somebody else come on, and that's how I built to begin with in Dallas. So that's awesome right there. So now let's fast forward. Here we are today. Obviously, things have changed. When you and I were first attracting agents, we were almost hiding the name. I took a year and a half or so, the whole deal. We've evolved. So let's take us all up to date. Everybody on here is at different levels. Some have a few, some have got 100. Different levels, but take us today. Obviously, your success speaks for itself. But what are you doing today? I'd imagine you've gone through, maybe not, most of your warm market. What are you doing to continue to grow, evolve, and attract agents and build your team?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Sean. And I haven't gone through my whole warm market. That's kind of the crazy part. So I know a lot of realtors, and there's a ton of realtors. I mean, in Canada. So guys, remember, we're only about 79,000 agents strong in the US out of 1.6 million members of NAR, plus another 400,000 to 600,000 agents that have a license, but that aren't members of NAR, but that are licensed that could be with us, right? So basically a market of 2 million with 75 to 79,000 active. So we're still at infancy, remember that. And everybody hasn't heard of EXP. You think they have, but they don't really know it. They know what their broker told them, or their friend that went and may have had a different experience than they did, and whatever the case is. But, when someone says, oh, I've heard of EXP, well, the best answer to that is, well, you haven't heard it from me. Right? Gotcha. You haven't heard it from me. So, no, I'm still, Sean, I'm still going through my network and still actively inviting and sharing. In fact, one of my original agents from my team 20 years ago, is in the process of coming on with us, and I mean, he reached out to me. It was an oversight on my part.
Interesting. I was going to share before I forget. I'm sorry, I was letting other people in. One other thing, just to throw out to you guys, what I've said, Phil, every once in a while I'll call an agent. We're talking, they're going, oh, you know what? Hey, I saw EXP about a year ago, or I went to a lunch learn, or I watched a video, or whatever it was. I'll always say, that's awesome, Phil. Hey, if you don't mind me asking, after you guys were done watching and they sat down with you and really broke down the model, how much higher above 100% commission were you able to go? And every time, Phil, they'll be like, no, what do you mean? Even though they've seen it, they still don't understand that over 100% commission. And it just kind of evolves. And I go, listen, I don't want to step any toes. Do you mind me asking, when you saw that luncheon with whoever, are they staying in contact with you and so forth and follow? And most of the time it's no, you know the deal. And then that's where I'll tell you that and just reset the Zoom. So anyway, everybody's got different ways, but thank you. I love that also, but you haven't seen it from me because that's
You
true
haven't
as
seen it
well.
from me.
All of us presented a little different. Do you mind us stopping for a minute? Once you do schedule an appointment, are you most of yours, if not lunch and earns, are you meeting people one-on-one? Do you do Zooms? How do you do most of your appointments?
Yeah, great question. So it would be a hybrid. I try to leverage, because I travel extensively, and you touched on that, John, that the blessing of rev share, that we can really create and do business anywhere in the world. So if I'm traveling, and again, we're gone a lot, I do a lot of this, right? I leverage technology. I have meetings in the world with people, but a lot of online stuff as much as I can, just to better conserve my time and their time. And I know that nothing replaces the human interaction, but there's times where we're in southern Italy and it just isn't working. So so we leverage the technology, and what we'll do is we'll get the appointment booked, get them into the Zoom, the Calendly, so that they get the commitment, get them, I actually don't present. I don't believe in presenting. I never have, because if I have to present, then I'm not duplicatable. So I've never made an EXP explained video, which was, again, at the beginning was tough for my ego, Sean, because I'm a great presenter. I mean, I used to do Rob's. So when Rob and Scott were doing the weekly Thursday or whatever it was, I was doing it half the time for them. I would be the one presenting the amazing opportunity, not the stupid, but the amazing opportunity. It's me doing it for them. So I've never actually had my own video. So what I do is I just say, hey, okay, take a look at the intro, and we'll send them an intro video. And that's about 8 minutes, Sean.
And what's your intro video?
I'll send it to you after. I'll share it to you so you can share it with the team.
Thank you.
And so what the intro video does is it qualifies. It says, okay, so I want you to look at this and think of yourself as an A or a B. And if you're an A, that means, my goodness, this is really cool, and I can run with this. Tell me more. And if you're a B, I'm not a match. I'm not that interested. You know what? We're good. That's fine. I wish you the best. Reach out to me if I can be of service to you or assist you in any way. So we have them watch that. And again, it's 8 minutes. And if they say, and then they come back and I'll say, so A or B? A. Okay, great. Then I send them the intro, and the intro is about 20 minutes. Okay. But the intro, again, is by one of my business partners. It's not me. It's not dependent upon me, because then people are going to say, well, Phil, I can't do that video. Well, guess what? I don't have a video. Have you ever seen my video, my intro to EXP? I don't have one to this day. And I mean, I've made millions of dollars with this company. And so I leverage what's out there, which promotes duplication and ease for the team, if that makes sense, Sean.
Yeah. So these opening videos that you said you'll share with us, it's not necessarily a presentation. Is it just a real high overview, kind of casting the vision, or now you got my curiosity up?
Yeah, no. So the intro is, again, 8 minutes, and it's kind of very condensed, and it's a qualifier. Okay. And then the model explained is basically, it's like a brand, it's like all the other collateral we've seen out there. That's just, and again, and it really doesn't matter, because it's really hard to say the wrong thing to the right person. Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
And the right thing to the wrong person. We know that. Right. And so some people will get it and others won't. Yeah. Not salesy, not pushy. Yeah.
So are you saying that you pretty much don't even have the appointment face-to-face with them or on a Zoom with them until they've watched this 8-minute video? Do you see challenges in getting them to watch the video? And if so, do you just continue to follow up and say, we need to have you watch the video before we get to
go? Great question, Sean. So the fortune's in the follow-up. This is not sales, folks. I was still am an unbelievable salesperson. I've been blessed with sales skills that I've worked on and honed my entire life, studied and mentored under, the top sales training and communication coaches in the world. But this isn't sales. This is a different animal. And so people don't really make a move until they're ready, or until there's that pain point. There's a pain point. There's a readiness. And so it's really about following up. So great question on that, Sean. And truthfully, you just got to follow up with them, and follow up, and the fortunes in the follow up. And then once they've seen both, then it's just basically I will go to a cost analysis. So we'll share with them what the numbers look like. So what the actual opportunity will look like in writing, so they can compare to their existing situation. And
Okay.
then I'll jump on a Zoom or a meeting.
And so is this spreadsheet, is one of our leaders also, Tim Hollenden. He's on my 7th tier. Incredible. He's one of our leaders here. He's got about 300 in his group, but he
Yeah.
has an Excel spreadsheet where he does a comparison of their brokerage against EXP, plugging in the numbers and seeing what the difference would be. So what you're
Yeah.
basically doing. Okay.
Yeah, I actually don't do the comparison of the other brokerage. I just show them the EXP opportunity, what those numbers are. And it's not an Excel, it's actually a written email. I'll share that with you as well. If you want to send me an email after what
Yeah.
collateral you'd like to see, I'd share it with you. But yeah, no, it's more of a written kind of easy peasy. And now with our chat GPT tools and stuff, I tailor it to the different agents based on
Yep.
where they're living, et cetera. So
Wonderful. Okay. Well, let's do this, guys. We can continue to dig in. We can get down to the nitty gritty. What are you saying on the phone? Whatever it might be. Instead of me just asking all the questions, obviously you guys all come here for a reason on Monday morning. You got right now a heavy hitter with an incredible background who's now building a huge team. What questions anybody have? Either raise your hand or just jump on in and speak out. Unmute yourself. Now, come on, Kate, Chuck, some of you guys, you got to have some questions, guys. I can continue to ask, but I wanted to open up the floor for all of you guys.
Okay, I'll go if that's all
Okay.
right. Thank you so much, Phil and Sean.
hey, Kate.
Hi. I am not doing the system that you're talking about. I do have, once I've presented with people, I do put them into KV Core, and I'm staying on top of them and everything. After I do a presentation and I get them to come to another call or whatever with a 3-way, in that time frame, is there anything I should be sending them, telling them, texting them, or just let it be silent until our next meeting with a confirmation text in the morning?
Yeah, great question, Kate. So, it really depends on your relationship with the prospect, how, committed you feel they are, your gut, right? It's like kind of that follow-up thing. So you're plugging them into your CRM, which is great. So they've already seen the presentation, is that correct? And now you're waiting for the third-party call, correct? Okay. Okay, so I would, how tight do you book that third-party call after they've seen the presentation?
I try to do it within a week, and sometimes, I'm in the middle of fundraising right now with my child. I can't do it till next month. So there's time. Some of them, like one right now, there's a month in between.
Right. So, the longer the appointment is set out, the higher the risk of cancellation, right? And attrition. So try to keep those appointments as tight as you can. And then secondly is you want to just continue on with any positive media that you may see, every week, maybe every twice a week, just sending them something that's positive, like, oh, EXP just onboards, go to EXP Life. There's always great stories there, to the EXP Life site, and share what's happening there to keep them intrigued and keep dripping on them that way, or have it automated through your CRM and through your KV Core or whatever CRM you're using. And by the way, there's no magic CRM, folks. It's just the one you use, okay? Whatever works for you, as long as you've got something that you're using. So,
All right, thanks for that.
yeah, cheers, Kate.
Awesome. I'm going to put in here, definitely feel free to ask another question. I'm going to put in the chat, right after I schedule the Zoom, you guys, I generally send something like that. Did that not go through? Waiting room participants. Okay, we should be good to go. Is it Toy? I don't want to mispronounce that. Toy, is that correct? All right.
Yes.
Brother, go ahead,
Yes.
man. Ask Phil your question. Thanks for jumping on.
Hey, Toy.
Hey, thanks, Phil, for this, and thanks for this Freedom Team. This is amazing. Everything that you have, like I wrote, it's not salesy, because my biggest thing, I'm fairly new to EXP. I haven't really focused on recruiting yet, and I feel like a lot of it is a mental block for me. And I feel like I'm not quite an icon agent yet, and I'm working towards that. So all of this, I feel like it's like another business to me, because you got to have time, you got to have a drip campaign. Like I don't have all that. I don't have a CRM. I'm starting to learn more about the KV Core, and I feel like this part of the business is like it seems it can be overwhelming. So how do you overcome all that? Because I actually put on my schedule 1 hour every day. It says talk to one new agent and ask how they're doing. And one of the class that you had, that's what I remembered, is like to be of service, like just ask them how are they doing and this and that. But that's one touch. So I like all these other touches he has with the emails. It's non-salesy. So if you know somebody, you send them an email and then the follow-up. So do you have also a follow-up campaign, and can we steal it from you? Because I think that's a huge part.
Great question, Toy. So I use a system called Rapid Funnel. But I don't, guys, I'm not using it extensively, to be quite frank, but it's called Rapid Funnel. You can check it out. And they've built out a campaign for us again. So yeah, you can check that out, and I'm happy to share that with you. I can plug you into it, Toy, if you want, and then you can see how the drip goes. But what happens is there's so much noise, guys. Remember, people are plugged into so many CRMs. Like, how many times do you have to hit unsubscribe every week when you're looking at your email? And by the way, text messaging is much more effective, about 98% read rate and response rate versus email, which is 10 to 12%. So anything you can do via text is much better. Video text, voice text, whatever you're doing. So keep that in mind as well. And Toy, remember this, guys, the agent that recruited me, though he'd been in the business a long time, maybe sold 10 houses a year. Okay, so think about that. Maybe 10 houses a year, but he was persistent and never stopped. Okay. And so, and that changed, now he's got a significant amount of money coming in every month because of our relationship, right? But he was like I said, he wasn't a rock star. I mean, he is a rock star. He's actually a musician, but he wasn't a rock star in production. But he followed up with me, and here we are, right?
Yeah. And real quick, if I may comment on that, Rapid Funnel is an app, right? I think I got some people on my team that are using it. Is that correct?
I think they're out of Colorado too, actually. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But is it also something through email? Or is it just pretty much through text on an app?
No. It's both. It's
Okay,
both.
both.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
both.
Yeah, we'd love to see that as well. And Toy, just to give you peace of mind, if you haven't heard me say, when I started, and still to this day, I've had 5 home sales. And the very first year, shared that 50-50 with people that I brought in on my first year. I never did the paperwork. I've never done a transaction. So I only say that, Phil, to say the same thing. Here's what I've learned, just to help overcome that, Toy. If you get good at asking questions and just building relationships, no one ever asked me about me, my production, how long you've been in real estate, where were you before EXP? They don't ask me that. I'm asking them questions, and so anyway, just to give you peace of mind, you don't have to wait, right? You just want to get good at plugging them into a system. I'm the same with you. I don't do a presentation, Phil. I've done them at Lunch and Learns Live, but I just press play. I've done it every time. I'm the same thing. I want it to be duplicatable. I want to plug them into a system. The last thing I'll say about that, Toy, any of you guys all know this, but every time you have an interaction with an agent, phone call, text message, or not text message, phone call, live, you're at an event, whatever it is, and you guys are talking, always what I call BAM fam. Book a meeting from a meeting. Every single time you quit talking with someone, whatever it is, live or on the Zoom, whatever, phone call, book the next meeting. Book the next meeting. I can't stress that enough. You want to keep them in the funnel the whole time. Anyway, so back over here to Q&A. Let's ask some more questions of Phil, you guys. He's got about 1,000 agents on his team. He's rocking this thing and has, what'd you tell me? You've got about 35 or so that you've brought in to the company.
Hold on here. So by the way, I track my gross and net too. I think that's important, is our attrition. You got to track your attrition. Because then if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up somewhere else. Where are we at here? Okay, yeah. So 1,300 agents gross, 870 net, 56 FLA gross to 34 FLA net, and 23 FLQA.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about that retention.
Yeah.
Some of you guys may have a handful, some have more. I know I've got a pretty good sized group also, Phil, and obviously people are leaving every month. Do you do anything to help maintain? How do you keep your group together? How do you keep that glue that kind of holds everybody together?
So great question. So we have, we stuff like this, right? Obviously, we have, live Zoom meetings. Getting people to events and engage is very important. So, EXP cons, we got Cabo right now. There was Maui that just finished. The regional rallies. Getting to those events because they do a lot of the heavy lifting and they help. With recommitment and focus and that. So that's a big step. What we notice, Sean, in our organization is anyone that's production based or has pretty good production doesn't leave. Like our attrition is for people that are generally newer that either leave the industry or, they're just going to some discount model, et cetera. So we don't really lose our productive agents. Very, 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 very few.
Yeah. And I'd say the same here. I mean, obviously our competitors are starting to make calls to every single person out there, right?
Yeah.
So we know we're getting hammered with different competitors, and that's going to happen, guys. But if I can give you peace of mind for anybody that might be coming across some of the competitors, I don't need to drop names, but there's 2 or 3 out there that are trying to emulate us. Just know a lot of these agents are being bought again, or they're offering all kinds of stuff for free. And we're already hearing things about they're going over. And they're not. All those things are not for free. They don't have it implemented yet. So a lot of over promising, and like some of the other companies like Compass and stuff that were busy buying agents are now struggling. That same thing may happen. That's the beauty of EXP, guy. We don't buy anybody. Everybody comes in on the same split. And to me, that's phenomenal. It truly is. So Toy, you got another question. Fire away, my friend.
Yes, thank you. So that's I'm starting to hear the same correlation. So are you guys only recruiting? I don't know if that's the right word, but only seasoned agents and not new agents and not somebody you want to help, somebody that's actually making.
Oh, no, not at all, Toy. In fact, I love new agents because they have no bad habits. They're wonderful. Listen, 80% of the real estate that's going to be sold 5 years from today is by people that aren't licensed yet. There's a huge call, like the median age of an agent in North America is about 56, 57. So there's a huge turnover happening. So no, new licensees are our bread and butter and our foundation. However, there are some that engage and plug in and attend the training and they do, what's required. And I'll tell you, anyone that I see that goes into 5 to 6 hours of training through EXP University a week, I'll show you an icon in 12 months every time. The people that lean in and that attend are the ones that get it going on, right? And so, Toy, no, new agents are absolutely amazing, but they need to engage. If we get new agents and they're not engaging and they know a better way to do it than we do and this and that, generally that's where you'll see some attrition down the road. Does that make sense?
I love it. Thanks for the reply.
Yeah, cheers, Toy.
That's a great question, Toy. And I'm going to follow up on that, Phil, because that's always been a go around. And I've noticed that some of the trainings that were consistently there for new agents, I don't see them now in the list and not as near as many icon agents in the everyday training in the virtual campus. Do you have a set of classes? If it is a newer agent, do you steer them to go, here's the first handful of classes you need to take this week or this month? Or do you have kind of a roadmap of that?
We do. Yeah. I can share that with you. Yeah.
And that would be awesome because and I'll answer it if you don't mind, Toy. Also, I pretty much, because of the numbers you're throwing out, right? 75% are gone basically, or 78% in 1 year. Something like 83% are gone in 2 years. I have taken my focus, Toy, and most of the time we're training on this is if you're really going to build rev share and you've only got a limited time to build it, personally, I would focus on people that are already capping agents, where you don't have to baby them, you don't have to hold their hand. You're just going to move them over to another model that can compensate them more, give them better training, camaraderie, all the stuff we have. But that'd be my opinion. Unless you have, and I'd love to get this from Phil, a perfect roadmap when they jump in, here's the classes they got to take, but just still knowing that 80% may not be here. So one of the guys on our team, Phil, you know Jay Nelson?
Yeah.
Okay. Jay is on my team. Now he's my big well that I brought on board, helped change my life, but he is so upfront when he's talking to newer agents. He tries to take it away from them. Toy, he tries to get rid of them. In other words, he just says, listen, Toy, if you're getting started in real estate, he starts questioning them. So why did you get into real estate? I mean, how bad do you want this? Do you know really what it's going to take for you to build this? Let me give you the stats. And then he goes through the numbers, goes, let me tell you about the 15% who do make it. Here's what they do. And you start talking about, if you come on board, you need to engage. There's going to be 4 or 5 classes a week that I promise you, if you engage and begin to implement what you learn, you're going to have success. But if you come in and just think this is going to be pretty easy, I've got lots of friends and family, they're going to call me, it may be a big wake up call. He is so upfront about trying to take it away from him. And he says stuff like, Phil, I'm telling you right now, this will probably be the hardest 2 years you've ever worked in your life. But if you'll put your head down and really go build and get a solid foundation, you'll come out the other end on year 3, and it's just going to start to happen. You'll start to get some repeat, some referral, but it's going to be 2 years of everything you've ever put into it. Are you open to something like that? He tries to like almost scare him, like, whoa, wait a second. I wasn't ready to work my butt off. Anyway, that's just different feedback from you. If you know Jay pretty well, he's
Yeah, how's Ashley doing? Speaking of which, Sean, how's Ashley doing?
she's doing better, continues to do better. What an incredible mindset if you follow her
Yeah.
on Facebook when she goes in for therapy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Toy, here's some feedback for you. What market are you based out of? Where are you, where's your real estate business based out of?
Scottsdale, Phoenix area.
Okay, you're Vietnamese origin, correct? Okay,
Correct.
so
Okay,
here's what so I have some Vietnamese business partners and dear friends, and do you tap that market, the Vietnamese market?
Honestly, probably. I've tried. I've advertised in the magazine, but it didn't really do well, and I was getting a bunch of renters, and like just it wasn't good, so I stopped. But
Okay.
I don't really. Most of my market is either American or, like you mentioned, the church stuff. I was active with this Filipino church. It's a Filipino Christian church,
Okay.
and I stopped going for a lot of reasons. I'm still like, I don't know, because see, so
I see it. Yeah.
you know,
You're a
part of my
believer.
heart. I'm a believer. So, they're part of my heart. They brought me a lot of.
Oh, you're muted, Toy.
There we go. You muted yourself, Toy.
I think when a call comes in, it blocks me. That's what happened. So yeah, I get a lot of referrals to them, but my Vietnamese isn't really too great. I can communicate, but I can do paperwork, everything, and I actually do help a lot of Vietnamese people. I have one right now that's under contract in a new build, but no, I don't
So
copy that. I don't know
yeah.
how. It's just
So Toy, I'm talking about, okay, so this is more on the agent attraction side, is leaning into that market because going to lunch or meeting up with some of your Vietnamese colleagues that aren't with us yet, because we've had some crazy growth in that segment. So I guess I would encourage you to maybe lean out and connect with some of your colleagues that are licensed agents in the Vietnamese community within your market area. I think that would
actually
be,
that was going to be my first target of who I was going to do, because I know a bunch.
Yeah.
So, and I know some big shots. So, and I think if I could target those big shots, and they know me too, so I think it would be a good start. And then from there, we can work on the rest. But yeah, no, I think that's great. I think that was part of my plan. But like I said, I don't have the back end stuff to complete it, to go from start to finish. And that's always been my mind block.
You don't have to be perfect.
Like,
You just have to start.
Yeah.
Just start. Yeah.
But everything that you have, it's gold. It's like, it's easier, like talk to them again, back to the whole training with everybody else. It's like, talk to them and find out how they're doing, find out about their business. And then obviously we're all in this to make money and to be successful and financial free for our family and whatnot. So all that stuff that you have, if we can plug all that in, I think it'll be so easier. We just have to do it.
Buddy.
Yeah. And totally, I'll leave you just for more peace of mind as well. If you start to, schedule if you do a few Zooms, if you're meeting them one-on-one, go get to know them, ask them questions and all that. Some people go and just build rapport on the first meeting, kind of re-deepen that relationship, or if it's a cold call, get to know them real well. Don't even say anything about EXP. Because if you're just asking about real estate, asking questions, ultimately at some point in time, they're generally going to come back and go, well, how long you been in business? I see you're at EXP, and it can kind of open up that door. But I just want you to know that if you schedule a few Zooms, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us in the leadership team. Be more than happy to help you with the first 2 or 3 Zooms to get a feel for kind of how we do it. Phil, just FYI to you, I do 98% of my business via Zoom. I built my entire group almost through Zoom. I probably had 15 one-on-one meetings and lunches and all. Now I had a bunch of lunches in Dallas, but most of the people I attracted were via Zoom. So yeah, you don't have to necessarily have to be face-to-face. Percentages are probably better. But anyway, all great stuff, you guys. We got another 15 or so minutes. Other questions? You guys, it's all good stuff, man. Continue to pick the
Hey,
brain.
Sean, I
Hey,
missed the
Josh.
beginning of the meeting because of technical difficulties. Phil, thanks for sharing your information, but I just got on. Are you setting up the Zooms with your upline or are you setting up Zooms or are you pushing play?
Great question. So I generally will, to better conserve my time and the party's time, I will have them, I've done the watch the Zoom together, set the meeting, have watch the Zoom together, and that's worked. And I've also done the dump and chase where I just give it to them and then follow up. But what I'll do is I'll set the timeline. I'll say, okay, listen, do you have 8 minutes today to watch this, before 2:00? And if
Okay,
they
and
say
that
yes,
8-minute video is coming from where?
from us.
Okay, did you guys get a link to that? Or
No,
is
no,
there
I'll share it. I'll share it with you. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
cool. Thank you.
Very, I mean, keep in mind, you can tailor it to, again, to yourselves. It's very specific to our award, but yeah, of course,
Yeah.
I'll share it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Josh, once they've seen that, so I'll literally text them, like I'll have a reminder for myself to text them at, 2:05. Hey, what'd you think? Are you an A or a B?
Mhm.
Okay. And then they'll say, okay, I'm an A. Oh, great. Okay, boom. I'd love you to watch this. Can you watch this before the end of the business day? Okay. And then I send them the corporate overview. And then I will again follow up with them once they've watched that, saying, hey, what did you think? Boom. And then I'll say, listen, I'd love to give you a cost analysis to show you exactly, or we call it a partnership proposal, to show you exactly what it will look like to be in business with us now versus your current circumstance.
And when you say A or B, Phil, I missed that as well.
Oh yeah. So A is someone that's hot to trot. They're really interested. Yeah, I get this. And B is, you know what? I'm not really interested,
Okay.
have a nice life. And that's okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So he's qualifying them, Josh, which is I think why we're all intrigued with that 8-minute video. And we'll obviously can look at it and tweak it, but man, we sincerely appreciate you being willing to share. That's
Yeah,
kind
no
of a
problem.
different approach.
Perfect.
Love
Okay.
it. Love it, love
Thank
it.
you, Phil.
No worries, Josh.
All right, guys. Other questions? Chuck, Fred, some of you guys that are here all the time. Come on, man. Let's pick this gentleman's brain. We got a racehorse here.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes, sir.
All right. So as far as leads are concerned, I own a recruiting company. I fill positions for engineering firms, construction companies. So I'm cold calling all day. I use LinkedIn
Great.
to get most of my candidates. Are you using LinkedIn? I use the back end recruiter, LinkedIn Recruiter.
Yeah.
But are you setting up lists of realtors on LinkedIn? Are you buying lists from? I know you can also buy realtor lists. Where are you getting your leads from?
Yeah. So great question. Again, so my personal stuff, Josh, is not that deep down, to be completely transparent, guys. It's not, I get all this data, like I'm in the data business, so I love to grab the data, but it's almost more for a passion to study the numbers and rates of sale and attrition and that kind of stuff. But dude, if you're in the recruiting space, I mean, so use that. Like, what's your organization look like? Like, how long have you been with us?
I'm just starting. My wife is a realtor. I've never sold a home. So I just got my license, and because I'm a recruiter, my wife's like, Josh, go get to work.
Yeah, welcome. Well, that's great. Yeah. So LinkedIn is definitely a great tool. Sales Navigator, or you're using the recruiter. I was told to use Sales Navigator for some reason. And then there's 1.6 million agents in the US. So call it 1.5, 1,530,000 that aren't with us.
Right. Okay.
Like it's no, but seriously, guys, and there's such a scarcity mindset out there sometimes that, oh my goodness, this and that. Like, guys, we're gonna be 500,000 agents in 50 countries in 5 years and 1 million within 100 countries in 10. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're in a bumpy road right now, a little bit in the real estate market in terms of what's been happening, but make no bones about it. Like, we are built for this. And so the NAR data, Josh, there's so much stuff available. I mean, listen, Sean can share it there's so many tools available. It's unbelievable, but
Yep.
use your stuff to.
One of the things I'll share, Phil, and Josh, this is for you as well. I just put it in the chat. if you find any market you want to focus on, and for about, and again, it's not every state, but from what I've heard, it's by far a majority. I know it's Texas, Colorado, Florida. You can go to marketviewbroker.com. You can pay $149 to get it set up. You'll have to get it okay by a broker. It might take you a week or two, but once it's set up, you can open up that thing and you can pick a major market. It'll show you every single agent in the market. Then you can sort it by everybody greater than 3 million, every greater than 8 million. And you literally can take a CSV file, pull it over in an Excel spreadsheet, drop Market View Broker, pay for it one time, and get every single agent in the market. Okay, that's the best one I've ever found. 151 time and get every agent in the market.
And Sean, you said that this Market View Broker actually gives you their production?
All the production. You can sort
Okay.
them any way you want, right? Every agent that's doing greater than 3 million, every agent greater than 20 transactions, anything you can think of, sort it how you want to and pull it over into CSV file into Excel.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. So again, questions? Anybody? Come on, Fred. I know your brain's thinking. You're here every week.
Yeah, I have a real quick one. At least I hope it is. So Phil, I know Sean said that you were with KW for a long time. I have a meeting on Wednesday with a managing broker for one of the big KW offices in Denver.
Great.
I need one hook.
Okay, so let's well, you know what? Great. Let's role play this. So tell me about this person. How long have they been with KW and in the business?
Over 25 years.
Okay. Who set the meeting? You, or is it someone you know and they reached out to you?
No, I did.
You did. Okay. And on what premise?
We know her. My wife and I are a team. She was with KW for 7 years.
Okay.
And so we know her. We saw her at a Christmas party and I keep in contact with her and just set up an appointment and said, hey, can we chat? So
Okay. Okay. So the fact that she took the meeting is great. That's a huge win in itself. Okay. So that is a huge win because that shows that there's definitely some interest and some intent. So what I would do, okay, and she's working as a managing broker at a KW office. Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay. So what I would do is I would really be consultative in terms of asking her, you know, how her business is, what she's doing, what pain points she's having, and I would not EXP on her at all, which means blah, 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 the presentation, the downline, come and see the upline. We're going to do a 3-way call. We're going to get you on the close. But just be very consultative in that meeting and find out what her pain points are. Okay. And what's going on. KW is a great company. There've been 3 disruptors in real estate to date. Remax in 73, KW in 83, and EXP in 09. And those have been, you know, the 3 main shifts. And so they're having difficulty reinventing themselves. They're kind of spinning their wheels in a lot of ways. For instance, the largest KW market center in Canada is shutting down right now as we speak. So, and it's a big one. So I would find out what her pain points are, Fred, and I would be very consultative and then go back to Sean and the team once you've got that and you guys kind of tailor an approach. Okay. She's going to ask you again, as Sean shared earlier, you don't have to mention anything because she will ask about EXP, but kind of frame it that this isn't like an EXP meeting. We're just trying to figure out where you're at, where you want to go, what your pain points are, how we can help you, how we can, you know, work better together and collaborate together. And I find that when we take that consultative approach, that it disarms their, you know, their fear, you know. Don't talk to me about what Jay Kinder said. This is one of the best things. What's number 1 rule of Fight Club? Don't talk about Fight Club. Don't talk about EXP. And she'll talk to you about it anyway, Fred. Does that make sense? I've had a lot of those interviews and have it high level, right? High level. Okay?
Great advice. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, cheers. My pleasure.
And then Fred, when you get for all you guys, when you get a big agent, a team leader, or a broker, and you've at least walked them through a presentation, some form or fashion, and they have intrigue, they're asking questions, you can get corporate involved, right? You guys can reach out to Amy Weaver, to Sean, not Corbett, Sean.
Murphy.
Thank you, Sean Murphy. There's a multitude. Feel free to reach out to me if you get to that point. I've got 3 of them going on right now with corporate. They'll come in, they'll break down the numbers, and it just gives a different perspective. And some of the people on the growth team were also ex-brokers. But anyway, the moment you have a big player, team leader, or broker, You've at least had them watch the presentation. They're open. Man, feel free to get one of us leaders involved and or jump right to corporate, and corporate will get involved, and they do a phenomenal job. They do a really, really good job. They do.
And
Really
to that
appreciate
point, Sean and Fred, both Sean and Amy were high level team leaders, ownership stakes with KW. Like they
Yes.
get it
Yes.
very, very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
You get Murphy going, and his background, like you, Phil, his background is phenomenal. When they realize who they're talking to, Murphy, I didn't realize that about Murphy till I had him on my first Zoom with me to help with a team leader I was trying to bring over. I'm like, oh my gosh, when he was given his background. So anyway, phenomenal. These guys are all willing to help. They want us to grow as bad as you do. So just know that corporals, they just want to make sure they've at least seen the presentation. They're interested and have questions. We don't pull them in on the very front end. Go ahead, Kate.
You had mentioned, Phil, something about finding people's pain point and their readiness. What would you say are some good questions besides tell me 3 things you really love about your broker, or 3 things you really don't like, or the challenges you find, or what would be a good series of questions?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kate. So why don't we role play it?
Okay.
Okay. So we're meeting now, and we're having a coffee. Okay. So Kate, how's business? How are things going?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, fantastic. How was your year last year?
Oh, well, it was up and down, not as great as I would have wanted, but I love my broker.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. What was your goal for production?
Oh, I wanted to close 200,000 in commission.
Okay, 200K, and you achieved that?
No,
No. Okay, and how short were you?
very short.
Very short. Okay, I appreciate that. Listen, if I could show you a way that you could achieve that goal while leveraging our technology and our training and being partnership with us, would you be open to at least exploring that opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
So that way next year we could be talking about this $200,000 goal that you actually crushed instead of falling short. Would that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, listen, let's dig down a little further here and let's show you how we can do that, okay? And that's how I do it, right? I mean, I just, but you see, I'm getting a little salesy, a little closey, but again, at the end of the day, right? That's, that's
Getting
what
me to say yes. Yeah, I like
I'm
that.
getting you to say yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Do you happen to have a 7-step close by chance that's handy?
I've got all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I'll send you what I've got. Guys, we have so many scripts, it's insane. And especially with Chat GPT now. If you're not using, by the way, remember this, AI is not going to replace you, but the agents using AI will. Okay. So engage and embrace it. Okay. Engage and embrace if you're not plugged into chat, folks, there have been 3 major innovations in the computer IT world in the last 50 years. 1 is the personal computer, 2 is the internet, and 3 is AI. Okay. Specifically Chat GPT or anything like it. Be plugged in and use it because it makes life go a lot faster and more efficient. So.
Okay, and I'll answer this right now, even though I'm typing it in for you, Suzanne. So all the stuff that Phil's going to share, dude, and we, again, very humbled, man. Thank you for being willing to do this. I'll have him send it to me and I'll post it on our Workplace by Facebook on our private group, right? So you guys can see some links and stuff like that. Okay, great, guys. I got about 3-4 minutes, and I'm sure Phil's got a day ahead of him. So anybody got a last great question? Anybody?
I do. Can I ask,
Yes, sir.
would you guys run ads? Would you guys run ads at all? Or do you know people that run ads?
For recruiting agents?
Yes.
We did. Well, listen, when I started, we did everything because we didn't know about the pledge of competition and this and that and whatever it was, the pledge. And in fact, guys, listen, don't do this, but I had a website that mimicked EXP's corporate site that people would go on. And if they searched EXP, it would actually be my site they'd land on and register for information. But I got that shut down pretty fast, but we actually got quite a few leads from it. So, but no, I haven't done any paid ads since Toy.
Would you think that would be a good thing to do? Try to do some
listen,
ads?
As long as compliance says it's okay, absolutely, Toy. Yeah, for sure. Yes, of course. Any marketing is good, right? I mean, listen, this personal stuff is fantastic, but the marketing can leverage everything, right? So, but just make sure you're in line with the pledge and with compliance, right? Because we don't want you to get your hand slapped.
Yeah,
sounds good.
No
Thank
doubt.
you.
No doubt. All right, guys. We got room for one more? Come on, it's about 9:57, or at least Mountain Time here. Anybody got one more question for Phil?
I have a question.
Yes, sir,
Hey,
Melvin.
Melvin,
Hey, thanks, Phil. Thanks for sharing.
good to meet you.
Do you have any events in your market to build culture with your agents?
Yeah, so that's a great. So I co-founded an event called Realtor Collective, and we do it every quarter. And we'll usually get anywhere from 250 to 400 people out, depending. And so that's been a big success for us. Yeah, Realtor Collective. You can Google it.
Realtor. Also, do
Collective.
you have the agents that have left? Do you have any campaign for them to bring them back, or you just say there's no loss?
Melvin, no. You know what? There's a definite benefit to focusing on that getting those agents back, but I haven't been that focused on it, to be quite frank.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a good question, Melvin. I haven't either. We'll continue to ask. That's a great question. I'll ask that every time we get somebody on here. Has anybody created a drip campaign for the agents that leave? You guys all know I've had 3 leave since December. Front line. Phil, that's never happened.
Yeah.
All 3 went to different competitors. They're all being enticed again, almost overpromised and all that. And they
Yeah.
were all respectful, called me, had a great long talk. And what they're offering them, it's kind of hard to say no to, whether or not they're going to be able to follow through with that. So yeah, that is something I'll definitely find out more about, Melvin. I'll continue to ask if maybe corporate may even come up, because I know obviously for those that may not know, corporate did extend it to 6 months. If somebody leaves your organization, they'll give them up to 6 months to come back and get the same spot. But boy, I would like to see maybe a series of follow-up kind of drip campaigns or whatever to see if you can pull them back in. It's a great question there, Melvin. I've never even thought about that. All right, guys. Thank you, man, Phil. We sincerely appreciate you. Went a lot of different ways with this, but I definitely gathered some stuff we haven't gathered before. So thank you. I'll send you over my email again, and then you can send that over to me, and I'll post that stuff on our Freedom Team and Workplace. But other than that, man, we sincerely appreciate you. Congrats on all your success. Thank you for pouring into us. You guys have a phenomenal week. Don't hesitate to reach back out if any of us leaders can help you guys with anything. Okay? Appreciate it,
Thanks,
man.
Phil.
Have a great week, everybody.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody,
Take
for
care.
coming. You got it.
Cheers,
Have a
guys.
good
Bye.
day.
Thanks for having me.
You bet, Phil. Thank you.